What are you going to do today? Are you going to do the same thing today you did yesterday and expect a different result? Change what you think, change what you do, and tomorrow will be different from today. You know why it's so simple for me? Because I have a lot of experience. You can only change your tomorrows by changing yourself today. Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. The Power is Within podcast. We've got a great show for you today, although it's going to be a short one because the beautiful Paulina has to go to, what are you going to?
Creepy World.
Creepy World. What the hell is Creepy World?
It's like a whole bunch of haunted houses in one.
Oh, it's a conglomeration of haunted houses. So you're going to go there to what, get scared?
Yeah. I went to one. It was called the Cop Factory. That was pretty scary, but I was kind of in a bad mood because the chains in there aren't supposed to be real, and they were, and they hit me on the face.
Oh, you got hit in the head with the chain.
Yeah.
Hey, you went there to be scared. So that brings me to the point of girls liking drama.
Mm-hmm.
Girls like drama, don't they? Every time I turn around, you got some drama going.
Yeah.
Remember that. You can do anything to a girl except bore her. You can make her angry, sad, happy, elated, and all the other emotions you can think of, but don't bore her because a woman doesn't want to be bored. So today's topic is going to be masculinity and dating in the modern world. We've got a clip there. Before we begin, December the 3rd, we have Alpha Kingdom, King Dre, and AV Alpha Villains coming in for a live show here. Be sure to join it. We're going to chop it up and give you some good game gold nuggets for you men out there that are having trouble with women, or you want to improve your game, improve your skills with the opposite sex. Join us. It'll be a great night. I'm sure of that. And what are we going to do now? Where are we at? We are talking about, we got the clip. All right, let's play that.
Which one?
Which one, he says. The last one that I sent you, which would be the one with the Tate talking about, yeah. Yeah, that one. Was that the one? Yeah, that's the one.
A woman who disguised herself as a man to find out how it is to live as a man committed due to the psychological scars of how difficult life was as a man. Nora Vincent, the author of Self-Made Man, has died by assisted suicide. She was a radical feminist who believed men lived on easy mode and tried.
Frank, okay. I read about her. Have you ever heard about her?
No.
This woman, I was reading about her about 2-3 weeks ago. This woman dressed up and actually pretended to be a man and went through life, made friends with men, actually got on a bowling team, and actually found out how difficult it was to be a man. Because a lot of times they make it out like men have it so much easier than women, and women have been oppressed. And she actually became a man. And well, she eventually told the men that she was a woman, and then they still were friends with her. And she was just amazed at what it was like to live the life of a man. Yeah. And then it was so hard on her, she eventually ended up, we can't say the word, deleting her life. It was amazing. So go ahead and play it on there, Frank.
Prove it by disguising herself as a man for 2 years. Instead, what she found out is that men actually have it very hard, and wrote a book about her experience. In fact, the experience was so bad that she had to stop after 18 months because she was starting to hate women due to how bad the women treated her when she believed she was a man. It left her with psychological scars, which accelerated the end of her life.
It's a very sad story.
It is a sad story.
But it does paint a picture about the world that we already know and that we try to help.
A woman.
Yeah, okay. What do you think about that, Paulina? You probably never thought it was difficult to be a man.
No, I have. I think
Really?
I have before said that. I have thought before that it is harder to be a woman than it is to be a man. And now my thinking is it's harder to be a woman in certain situations. Not just, oh, a woman's entire life is harder than a man's, but like, men can raise kids, but not as good as, women can, maybe. Because, I mean, you raised us good. And I think that's mainly because I had 500 of you guys around here and learned a certain way as I was growing up. But I feel like men's life are a lot harder than women's, but in certain situations it can be hard for women too. So,
Yeah.
But I think that story's sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad. Well, I think they both have the respective differences and problems, and it's really hard to judge that and say, well, it's tougher being a man than it is being a woman,
Yeah.
because I mean, I've seen some of the things you go through, and to me, it looks it's more difficult, I think, because it looks to me, as compared to your 5 brothers, that you were much more emotional, things bother you more, and it's really hard for you to make friends. I mean, girls are so competitive, and I see the trouble you have with friends when, for example, if some guys start liking you and your girlfriends like the same guys, then they get angry at you because the guys like them. And men have those problems, but that seems to be more of a competitive thing between women. And I would think it probably goes back to the days long ago when if a woman wasn't able to get a man and one woman was getting all the men, then she would be left out in the cold to die.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of an instinctive thing rather than a logical thing they think of. You got the chat on, Frank? What do we got there? Yeah, we got all the settings up there. Smash that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. And if you have a question, you can ask. All right. So, why do you think it's more difficult to be a man?
I feel like because usually men are the ones that have to go out and make money because they're more, I guess it's just a thing that men should do. I feel like that's a man's job, is to go out and work and get the money. So that can be difficult sometimes, especially if you're having money problems or things like that. You don't, like, once you get older, you don't really have many people to help you because, like, now the guys, they have you to help sometimes if they're having some money issues. But when you get older, you can't just go crying to your girlfriend and saying, oh, I need money, because she's not making money either. She's taking care of the kids. So I feel like if you are having some troubles with money or troubles with your job, there's really nobody to go to. And then, like, finding a job that is, has good financial support is kind of difficult.
But in our modern society, men and women are the same. So what do you mean?
People say that until it really comes down to everybody being the same. Like, if women started getting drafted, then.
So what do you think about that? There's pushing for that, I think, for women to have to be signed up for the draft.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's probably true. They're starting to talk about how gay men, they're going to get drafted too. And they're, like, obviously the gay guys are scared of that because they're more feminine.
Yeah.
A lot of them are more feminine than other guys. So for that, that's kind of scary for them. It's the same as if a woman was going to be drafted.
Yeah.
They would be scared too. And I know a lot of gay girls, they say how they don't want to get drafted, so they make jokes about it and start dressing up like more girly so they aren't taking that risk of being drafted because they look like men.
I think it was Tater. Someone said something about let a war start and let our land get invaded, and then watch and see how women and men would revert back to their natural roles of femininity and masculinity.
Yeah.
Because when it comes right down to it, women aren't made for war. There are exceptions. There's exceptions to every rule, but when it comes right down to it, they want a man that's masculine. But yet, I think for years, women have felt oppressed by men.
Yeah.
And I could see where they would think that, because in past times, women didn't have any rights. Well, they wanted the right to vote, but they actually had the opportunity to have the right to vote in the late 1800s. But they decided they didn't want it because to get the right to vote, they had to also serve in the services, the Army, the Navy. And they didn't want that, so they decided not to vote because they felt like if they wanted to vote, they had to serve their country. But there was a time when some men couldn't vote either, because if you didn't own land, property, different things, you couldn't vote because they figured you had no skin in the game,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't vote. Like when we came to this country was founded by men. Everything was built by men, and everything is maintained mostly by men. The infrastructure, the roads, the highways. You don't see women building the high-rise buildings. You don't see them down the sewers. You don't see them doing the lineman jobs, which is those guys that work way up on the high towers. They sometimes complain about not making as much money, but they're not putting in the hours. They're not doing the dangerous work. I mean, let's say you went to work. What kind of job would you be looking for as a woman? What would you want to do?
I feel like there's not very many options here because all these jobs are for men. Right now I would work fast food, obviously, because it's the only thing I can do.
Right.
I don't know, really.
But I mean, let's say you went into fast food and you liked it. Would you want to put in 12 to 16 hours a day so you could be a manager and have your own your own McDonald's franchise? Is that something you think you would find fulfillment or satisfaction out of?
Probably not.
What I see is a lot of women thinking they're going to get the same satisfaction and fulfillment out of doing what a man does.
Yeah.
And most of them find themselves very empty. It would be the same as if a man decided he was going to stay home and raise the kids.
Yeah.
I've done that, and I was working too, but there were times when I was taking care of your grandfather that I wasn't working. I was basically taking care of him and taking care of you guys. And for a man, it was okay, but it's not near the fulfillment I get from working on my business and building this YouTube channel and serving people in other ways.
Just like how women would get more fulfillment taking care of kids and stuff like that, other than going out and managing a big McDonald's business or something.
Now there probably are some women that get a lot, but most of the women are not going. They're going to end up in a cubicle. You know what a cubicle is, and going in and putting their 8 hours a day in or whatever it is, and coming home. And now, what do you think about this? A woman says she doesn't want to submit or serve her husband, but yet she goes and serves the boss all day, who's more than likely, more times than not, a man.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I think that's kind of dumb because you're married to that person, and you should obviously, I'm not saying be their slave because that's not what you're doing. You're doing what you should do. Like, I'm not saying every woman has to cook and clean, but I mean, it's just such like a thing that's been going on for so long, and it's just easier for the man because then you're basically asking the man to go work, bring in the money, and come home and clean and cook and watch the kids at the same time. Like, he can't do that, and you can't put your baby in a daycare because then it's not going to know his parents when.
But that's what most people are doing.
Yeah, I know.
They're both working, so they can have. Go ahead.
Which also isn't good because some of the daycare systems that I have heard about are teaching kids now at this age that you can take these pills to make yourself, whatever you want to be. If you want to be a boy, be a boy. Like, they're teaching that in kindergarten now. It's all over the media.
What? Really? Have you?
I've heard
personally.
About it. Me personally, I haven't heard about it. I know a couple of people that are a little bit older than me that have kids now that are already teaching their kids that. Like,
what are they teaching?
That it's okay to be. Like, obviously, it's okay to be whoever you want to be, but they teach their kids, it's okay if you want to be a boy. And the kid's
And the kid's a girl?
And the kid's a boy or a girl. But it's they're only 6 or 7 years old. They're really little kids, and they're teaching their kids that you can change who you are right now, or you can go out and do this and do that, color your hair a billion different colors, things like that.
Yeah, and the kid 7 years old really doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
certainly not time to be making life decisions. Right. I don't think. So kids are being raised in daycare and by the schools.
Yeah, they're being raised in daycare and schools and being taught things that they don't even understand fully now, which isn't right because they can't really make their own decisions. I mean, they're just kids. They think, if you gave a kid a pill, they probably think it's candy and, eat it. So I feel like a woman should be taking care of their kid and teaching them things like just be respectful, stuff like that, not go change your gender, nothing like that. I feel like they should be taught something completely different. So I feel like a woman should listen to the person she's married to other than who her boss is.
Well, we used to think of, you talk about the kids, we used to think of a girl who acted like a boy. We just call them a tomboy. Yeah, actually, I dated a couple tomboys. And then there was guys that were maybe, we didn't really have any guys that we would call feminine. They were kind of soft. We had a name for them when we called them.
Mhm.
But yeah, now it's almost like if you're masculine, there's something, it's almost like there's a down, they're pushing down masculinity like there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
But yet masculinity is, like I say, is what built this nation. It's what came here and discovered this land that they act like nobody was here.
Yeah.
And it takes both. It takes the masculine and the feminine. I mean, are you attracted to a feminine type man?
No.
I mean, there's a lot of them up there in school, aren't
Yeah. Like it's basically the entire school. There's really no masculine men. And if there is, they end up getting a soft spot for a certain girl and then they turn soft.
But what do you consider a masculine man?
Someone who leads, somebody who doesn't cry all the time. And I don't know. So I just feel like somebody who kind of takes control in a way and isn't a wuss.
Yeah.
And would protect me if something happened. I mean, I had a guy over here not so long ago, and you asked him what he would do if someone came on the street and slapped my butt or something like that.
Yeah, got in your face.
Yeah, and then he was just sitting there and be like, I don't know, probably say something. That was a complete and total no. Not only from you guys, obviously, but from me too.
Yeah, obviously I want the boy to be able to protect her if something happens. But so many people now think that, what do you mean protect her? I don't have to, I mean, I'll call the police. I got my phone. Police can't get there in quick enough.
Right. And then it's like if I'm, being beat on or something by a random dude on the street and we're sitting there waiting for the cops to, I mean, I was with this guy and he kind of passed the test with you guys. And I mean, he said that it takes three of the guys to bring him down. And he told me like he didn't care how many people.
Yeah, they wrestle around.
He wouldn't care how many people, if people were coming up to me and trying to hit on me or whatever, he wouldn't care as long as he put up a fight for me.
Yeah, that sounds like a Tate. That's what Tate says. And people think that's ridiculous, but that's not ridiculous. It's just I've lived in places where I've actually had to protect your mom, my ex-wife. I had to protect her physically more than once. I had to protect you kids. I had to protect myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a nice feeling to know that you can do that. Let's bring up that clip. Speaking of masculinity, there was two guys that fought this grizzly bear.
Oh, yeah.
And were able to fight him off, and they got pretty chewed up. But to me, I think this should be all over the media everywhere. That now this is a masculine, really to me displays masculinity, that they could actually fight a bear and survive and live to tell about it.
Frank?
It's a picture, not a clip.
What's that?
It's a picture. It's just
well,
it's
fine.
Clip. Yeah, it's fine.
Picture. So just show the picture for a couple of seconds, then I'll read the article that goes along with it. Or you can put them both up.
Trigger warning. It's a
What's that?
Gory picture.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I don't know. Of course, today's people, it's like, I didn't think it was that bad.
There's a picture.
You can barely see it.
Pretty small. I can't read it from here. I had it on my phone. What happened on my phone?
There's a picture.
Okay. So these two guys got in a fight with a grizzly bear.
I can read it.
All right, go ahead and read it off.
Okay, Frank, you can take the picture off before we get
He's got the picture.
demonetized.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, Brad Laurie and Kendall Cummings, wrestling teammates, were attacked by a grizzly bear Saturday evening. The bear first attacked Laurie, breaking his arm. Cummings, in an effort to save his friend's life, began trying to wrestle the bear away from Laurie. It was then that the bear began mauling Cummings. Cummings sustained extensive injuries in his arms and head. Miraculously, the wrestlers were able to fight the bear off. But the ordeal was far from over. Cummings was bleeding profusely and having a difficult time moving from the attack area. With help of two other wrestling teammates, they eventually made their way off of the mountain and 6 miles to the trailhead where help was waiting. Cummings was transported by a helicopter and Laurie was ambulanced to the hospital. Cummings has undergone multiple surgeries, but both are expected to make a full recovery. Unreal toughness.
Yeah, for real. Welcome, Mario what is it?
The baby.
The baby. Mario the baby. Thanks for being here. Now, there's a couple of men. What do you think about when you think about those two guys, how does that make you feel when you hear a story like that and you see the picture of those two guys?
I think it's kind of crazy because, like, obviously one of them was fighting for their life, so they were doing what they could. But the fact that another person came and tried to help was a big deal because that's a bear.
Yeah, there were other people there that I'm guessing they said there were other wrestlers there.
Yeah,
didn't help.
Yeah, there were those two that got attacked, and then another two that were helping him down to the trailhead.
Oh yeah, the ones that helped him down the street, down the road, the trail there.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, that's like those guys ought to be honored. I mean, that's like, is that a display of masculinity, bravery, loyalty, and honor? To me, it is. I mean, I would feel safe with, unless they were players, I'd feel safe with you going out with them anywhere they went. Those guys that fight a bear, I know they're going to protect you with their life. I mean, and that's the kind of guy that your father wants his daughter going out with. He wants a guy that can protect her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because then he doesn't have to worry about her. At least he knows nothing's going to happen to her as long as you're with that man, because he can protect you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times that you take a woman walking down the street at night, dark street. She's got some worries, but a man can do the same thing and he doesn't have to worry. That's why I say men and women are not equal. We're not supposed to be equal. We're not the same. We have equal value, but we're not equal. We're not equal physically or mentally or emotionally. We're all different.
Yeah.
You're not have a lot of words to say tonight.
I keep zoning
You're
out.
thinking about what is that you're thinking about?
The creepy world.
The creepy world. Yeah. So how many guys in your school do you think would fight a bear?
None.
I can't say if I'd want to
They
fight
would
a bear.
probably say they would, but in reality, if it really came down to it, they wouldn't. I know they wouldn't. They're a bunch. Everybody at my school is just wussies. They're scared of everything. They're scared of literally everything.
But don't they kind of keep them in fear there because they got these intruder drills?
Yeah.
They tell everybody to be afraid.
I feel like the intruder drills are so much worse now because people always think of what ifs. Like there's always going to be a what if question no matter what. And everybody thinks of it as like, what if because that intruder drill has always been a thing. So an intruder could be even someone who goes to our school or someone who went to the school who knows how it works, like knows exactly how it works. Cause that's been going on for years on years and years on end. So they know where the kids are. And there's really it's always just like, what if this and what if that? Like there's so many what if questions that the teachers leave us with and don't tell us anything. Like they just kind of tell us to do one thing and then we make jokes out of it because it's just like, oh, it's not actually going to happen. So I feel like they do keep us in fear a lot at the school. Well,
now it's a school policy that anyone who gets in a fight, there's a no tolerance policy. Mm-hmm. And what do they teach you to do? If I know they taught the boys that if we always seem to get back to school here, they teach the boys to cover up if they get in a fight. We've spoken about this before.
Yeah, my principal told me that if this one girl started hitting me, to just sit there and let it happen, not fight back.
See, and I don't understand that, but once again, they want you to submit to the authority. Yeah. But the authority cannot always be there, and that's where masculinity comes in, because a man's job is to protect, and provide. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, if you're at school and someone starts beating on you, whether it's a girl or a guy, a man or a boy should step in there and break it up.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to. So.
And then, of course, the teachers you say aren't allowed to break.
No, the teachers aren't even allowed to really touch you. Half the time, the officers don't even do anything.
And I suppose if one of your friends that were a guy happened to break it up, then he could get in trouble for being part of the fight.
You get in trouble for that type of stuff. You can also get in trouble for recording a fight.
So they really want you to be passive.
Yeah.
And just take whatever comes. Now, that's odd because us as a country, we have never been passive. We've always defended ourselves. We actually go out and defend and take up for other countries when sometimes we should be minding our own business and doing what we're supposed to be doing here and taking care of our own self. And we don't do that. So, but yet we're trying to teach it seems that the system is teaching the kids to be passive, because actually passive youth and passive men are very easy to control. If they can knock down the masculinity, then they're easy to control.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what they're trying to do is make it to where no one wants to stand up and speak out or fight against tyranny as far as that goes.
Yeah, I think that's true. I keep hearing tapping.
No, I don't know what it is. So what about? I can't talk about your personal life. I forget that. So out of all the guys you've gone out with, how many would you say on a scale of 1 to 10? What's the most masculine guy that you've dated?
I don't. Probably this one guy that we just we broke up a while ago. He probably on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it an 8, 8.5 maybe.
And what was it about him that you thought was masculine?
Probably the fact that he would come over and wrestle with the guys, and it took 3 of them to take him down. He's
Yeah.
strong. Whenever a guy tries to argue with me, he gets very like, I don't want to say like overprotective and crazy, but he does get pretty annoyed that guys say the things that they say to me. So he stands up for me, and if someone's talking badly about me, he stands up for me then too.
So you found the ability in a boy to be dangerous attractive,
Yes,
and
it's exciting, and like I don't want to be bored in a relationship
Yeah.
because it's like, I don't know, I just don't like it.
but of course you don't want him going around starting trouble.
No, I feel like if trouble comes to him, yes, he should handle it. But if he goes out and just randomly starts trouble, that's something that I don't like.
Yeah, I guess you'd call him a troublemaker. wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Now, are there a lot of let me see, are there a lot of troublemakers in school? But I guess there's no masculine. What?
I mean, they're troublemakers, but not in like an attractive way. They're troublemakers like, oh, I'm going to kill this dude, stuff like that. Or I'm going to bring all these drugs to school, or something just dumb. Oh, I'm going to get ISS for no reason. So it's not even like attractive type stuff. It's just like they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So they just do dumb stuff.
What about the risk takers? Are there risk takers? What
There's
do
a
you
lot of risk takers.
And what kind of risks do they take?
I mean, some
What
guys.
would you consider a masculine risk compared to a stupid feminine type?
A stupid
weak-
feminine type of risk would probably be like, oh, I'm going to clog up the sinks and stuff and run away and see if anybody catches me.
Yeah.
I feel like a masculine risk would be more like, I'm not sure. Probably like, say we're out on a night having fun and there's some guy standing there and he's got like something in his hand and we grab it and start running together or something. Not like something expensive, but something silly and something fun and exciting and like a risk. Like, oh my God, is he going to run after us? But risks that are dumb is like, oh, I'm going to go clog the toilets and run away. And
But what about football? We watched your brother play football today. Would you consider that a masculine risk?
Yeah, because there was a guy running and everybody gave up and he still kept going and he tackled him.
I missed that because you had me looking the other way. I thought he was on the other end of the field. It's hard to see those guys.
Yeah, I mean, Claude did the same thing too. When he was playing football, there was a big dude and everybody stopped. They didn't go and run and catch him or anything. And then Claude was still running and Claude caught him.
Yeah.
Him and Kevin and Claude are pretty much alike.
Football is a risky sport. Actually, it's more dangerous than boxing. Auto racing is number one. What's your favorite sport guys playing?
Football.
Football.
Mm-hmm.
Why is football your favorite sport?
Probably because I like watching football. It gets my adrenaline to rush and stuff. And I don't know, seeing people like tackle each other, I feel like that shows a lot of masculinity when people, are just tackling and stuff.
So you don't like flag football then?
It's kind of boring. It is boring,
Yeah.
actually.
Well, we're going to wrap it up because I know you guys can be a quick one, and I don't look at the wrong cameras over here. She's got to go to the, what is it again?
Creepy world.
Creepy World for Halloween. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And leave a comment in the comment section. And let me see. We will be back next. We have the giveaway, but we only got three
Three or
people.
four. Yeah, 3 or 4 people
3 or 4
following.
people. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. We still want to have the giveaway for the 1,600 subscribers, but we really need to get some more people following that TikTok. At least 10 of you need to follow the TikTok. I'll put the link in the description. And when we get 10, then we'll do a drawing and we'll give away the $160 for my 1,600 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very much. It's 1,622 now. And we're going to get out of here so she can go to Creepy World. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.